Guys, I'm gonna be honest, a Poker Night re-release was the last thing I ever expected to see on Steam. It's been 7 years since Telltale bit the dust. I'm not even sure how Skunkgate got their hands on all these IPs again. I mean, as far as re-releases go, this isn't the best one I've seen. The models look nicer, but there are some audio issues and clipping, and who cares? Dark Curtain's back! In my other video, I explained the basics of poker, and it seems like a lot of you found that tutorial helpful. As the only person left who still plays Team Fortress and knows how to play poker in the first place, it's now fallen upon me to make this video, because now items in video games are on the line. So, without further delay, here's some advanced poker tips to specifically help you win at Poker Night and get the reissued items. Before you get started with the game, you should already have a decent understanding of how to play poker. Knowing how to read the cards on the table and knowing when to Texas Hold'em or Texas Fold'em is pretty important. In this clip, it's me, Max, and Tycho. My hand kind of sucks, but since I'm the big blind and no one raises, I get a free check to see the flop. I now have a pair of twos, and that's fine, but then Max and Tycho start raising. In my opinion, this is a good time to fold. Tycho and Max could very easily have a queen or jack, and even if they don't, literally any number higher than 2 could make a pair with something they have. A pair of 2s by itself isn't optimal if players are behaving like this, and the chance of another 2 or 1 5 showing up is pretty low, so I fold. Sure enough, Tycho and Max had better hands, and like I imagined, Tycho was able to make a pair of kings. This is the first amateur mistake I tend to see. Just because you have a good hand doesn't mean you win the game. And if you didn't understand anything I just said, you probably still don't have the basics down. Don't worry, there are plenty of videos out there. Anyway, I see a lot of people saying that you should call the blinds no matter what, but I disagree. Calling the big blind seems cheap, but over time that adds up. I encourage folding, however, there are some hands where you should absolutely see what the flop is first. Asterisk. Some examples of these hands are natural pairs, any hand with an ace, maybe a king or queen, and suited and connectors. See, here's what not to do. In this clip, I have suited cards, but strong bet and heavy start raising, and since I'm stupid, I fold pre-flop. Are you kidding me? If I just called, I would have gotten a flush immediately. It's the first round, they didn't raise by that much. I totally should have just called there. Oh, that leads me to my next point. Be careful when you're banking on getting a flush or straight. Same game, by the way, and in this clip, I already have 2 diamonds in my hand, and when the flop comes out, I get 2 more diamonds. The heavy makes a big raise, and it's at this point you need to ask yourself, do you risk it in the hopes of getting another diamond, or do you play it safe? Now, I have the most money, and I'm still pissed from the last round, so I call. Sure enough. Oh, hell yes. You should also be careful if you're hoping for a straight or flush without a connector or suited hand. I don't have a clip for this, but watch. Let's say 4 hearts show up, and you happen to have a heart. Cool, you got a flush. But don't forget that everyone has those 4 hearts. They could also very easily have a flush, and flushes are graded according to the highest card. Another example with a straight. 4 7-ed queens show up, and you've got a 5 and 6. All you need now is any 3 or 8, and you got yourself a straight. This is not the same as something like this. Your chances of 1 number showing up are a lot less than 1 of 2 showing up. Okay, so obviously being able to recognize possible good and bad hands is super important, but you also should know how to use them. Let's go back to that clip where I have the flush. After getting a hand like this, your priority is seeing how big you can get the pot before you win it. I could bet a lot here, but that might scare heavy away. I could also check, but if heavy checks back, the pot doesn't grow. So instead, I tease him a little bit with a very small bet, and to this, he decides to raise, doing my job for me. I try this again the next turn, and he does catch on and fold, but I got $10,000. That's like a fifth of all the money here. So that's small betting. Now let's talk about the opposite. You most often see overbetting when someone is backed into a corner, but it can be used to get you out of bad situations. Here's an example. Tycho is on the ropes, so in a desperate attempt to get his money back, he overbets. Now hear me out. If you find yourself at a pre-flop and something like this happens, if you have an ace, king, or good natural pair, go for it. Here's another example with 2 different kinds of overbets. It's me and strong bad, and for some reason he immediately starts off with $3,000. I call because I have an ace, and I don't like what I see. Notice how strong bad bets here? Instantly a few things come to mind. This bet is a lot smaller than the first bet, and I think with these, he's still trying to convince me that he has the best hand, but he also might be betting to try to figure out what I have. See, how and when you bet is very important, as betting is how the players communicate with each other. Big bets are like saying, I have the best hand, you don't stand a chance, and small bets are like, my hand might get awesome in a second, but how are y'all feeling? But the most freaky thing is that these claims aren't about whether or not they're true, just whether or not you believe them. I think he's lying. And or close to a straight, but just to be safe, I jam all in to get out of this situation. Okay, so let's put all that together. The obvious difference between normal poker and the video game is that you're playing against AI with set behaviors, not real people. So it's worth it to just have a general understanding of how each character works and how you ought to react to them. Remember, you have to be the one to specifically knock them out in order to get their item. I won't go too in-depth, but in a nutshell, Strongbad plays aggressively even with bad hands. Tycho plays conservatively, folding often but will bluff sometimes. Heavy is not a problem unless he has the most money, with which he'll overbet often. And Max is a pain in the ass. I have some general tips that pretty much work for all of them, especially keep these in mind once they buy in with their item. 1. Try to call whenever they call, unless it's actually a terrible idea to do so. 2. Let them bet into you. Use checks or small bets and then let them raise the pot for you. 3. In general, you should just play to win, because whoever has the most money controls the game. Betting is how people talk, so whoever has the most money gets the most talk. 4. Pay attention to these tells that each character has. They're little celebratory or frustrated taunts you can use to gauge the worth of their hand. And finally, if for whatever reason you make a mistake...
Split. The player has 2 pair. Max has a flush.
A deadly queen! Bottom type 3 bites the dust! Just Alt F4, man. I'm not really an expert at poker, I'll be honest, but this is how I went about getting the items, and I wish you all the best of luck when trying to get them yourselves. This is kind of a new type of video for me, so let me know in the comments how you think I did. Or if you just have any other questions, I'm happy to answer. And, see you in the next one.